Good morning and welcome back to Radio 1. We're currently busy with chapter 14 and we've looked at your audio portfolio and your digital portfolio so far. Today we're going to continue with that and we're going to look at your experience log. So if you want to follow along, we are in Next Level Radio from page 17 today. But before we carry on with today's lesson, I want us to just do a brief recap of what we've spoken about thus far. So we finished, like I've said, the audio portfolio and the digital portfolio, and today we're starting with the experience log. And in the next lesson, we'll be doing the volunteering and mentorship, as well as networking and relationship building. So when we spoke about the audio portfolio, we said that in order for you to apply for an on-air position, you will need to show the radio station that you're competent enough to hold down a show and entertain and engage their target audience. You'll need to show that you have developed the skills that can attract and retain audiences. And to do this, you will need two things. To do this, you need two things. So the first is the body of work, aka the experience log, and the second is an audio demo. Demos as off-air, pre-produced pieces can be beneficial as they can showcase your ideas for content, your delivery, and how that fits in with the station that you are applying for. So a good demo should showcase a variety of work. So live work from real show or podcast and pre-produced pieces. Big thing, remember FUBI. Remember to create a demo that is fun or funny, useful, bold, beautiful, and or inspiring. So when you create your demo, you need to open with your best work, okay? Your best story first. Use MP3 format. Don't include music. It's not about the music. Showcase your personality, okay? It's personality radio. They want to see what your personality will sound like. So tell a good story. Good storytellers is what we're always looking for on air. And use your emotions, okay? Be emotive. Think about why you love certain books and stories and friends, etc. And think about the emotions behind them, okay? So be emotive. Then we spoke about your digital portfolio, which refers to the record of all your interactions online, such as what social media you use, your personal website or blog if you have one, what content you post, how you interact with other people online, any reference to you in online articles or on other accounts, okay? Let's look at 4 different influencers on social media quickly. So 2 of them are on Instagram and 2 of them are on Twitter. Right, so the first one here is Somizi. You can see he's got 4.2 million followers. And if you look at it, there's a lot of tweets about just basically himself in different events and things that he partakes in. Here's an event that featured him yesterday. Okay, just with some photos and things of him. Here at the start, there's a reel of him. Okay, so you can just scroll through all his stuff, and so you can simply scroll through and get an idea of posts. You see, so most posts are about Somizi. So this is the kind of posts on here, okay? Second one we have is Bonang. She's got 4.4 million followers on Instagram. She's in the Forbes Africa's 50 most powerful women for 2020. Again, you'll see a lot of photos of her, obviously. So here you can see these were the most recent ones. So you can, again, just scroll down. So you'll see it's her just in, it's a lot of like fashion types of posts. Right, so that's the kind of stuff that she posts. And then from there, let's go on to Twitter. So a little bit of a different social media platform, obviously, so with different types of influencers. Bonang is also on here. I just decided not to show her again because I've showed her to you on Instagram. So here we have AB de Villiers was second with, here we have AB de Villiers with 7.8 million followers. Obviously really, really big in sport. Okay, and we know sport followers are huge. So it's also to show you different types of influencers. His posts are mainly about sport. Okay, obviously he's a professional cricket player, but he posts, it doesn't purely post about cricket. So he posts a lot about what's going on in, with regards to South African sport on the whole. And here he's posted the Ndlovu Youth Choir. Remember what I said about sticking to one or two or three things max. Can you see this is what all of these have done thus far? Okay, so they've stuck to certain genres with regards to their posts. Okay, you see that. Here, obviously, we can see it's pretty much sport or South African. And then the last one here I want to show you is Minnie Dlamini. She's got 4.1 million followers. Okay, and she posts a lot about media, whether it's TV or radio or things like that, that she's been at. She does a lot of giveaways, right? So this is one of the differences with her. So she does advertising on her page. So these are just, well, 4 of the influencers in South Africa. These days, obviously, there are lots and lots of influencers in different categories. So obviously, you get your celebrity influencers, whether international or local. And then from there, you get macro influencers, you get micro influencers, and nowadays you get nano influencers also. And we use these influencers as part of advertising campaigns to influence. Okay, so something that you will be able to pick up when you start going through influencers pages is that they kind of stick to certain genres, something that we can define them by, because we need to be able to put products to them if we want to use them for advertising. Or if you want to follow some of them, you'll follow them for a specific reason because there's something in them that you like. So just to get back here, again, we look at what social media you use, okay, and what you post, how you post it. So that's why I told you to start following your favorite radio station, your favorite radio presenter, your favorite influencer. Look at how they post, what grammar they use, okay, what type of photos they will post, that kind of stuff, because you need to start working on your own brand. And then we looked at the top 10 tips for building a digital portfolio. We said the first one is, who are you outside of the digital space? Then pick an angle or 2, on my case 3. Authenticity is key. Be consistent. Learn the technical side of social media. Know when to follow the rules. Never copy anyone else. Become digitally multi-skilled. Protect your privacy and have fun. Okay, that's what it's all about. And then we look at the experience log. If we go back to page 529 in Next Level Radio, your textbook, and read that opening paragraph again, it says, at first, the concept of creating a body of work may seem like a challenge. How do you develop a portfolio if you don't have a job at a radio station yet? What should be noted is that digital media has evolved the radio business. In other words, you don't need to be employed at a traditional radio station in order to make a radio show. Instead, you can now develop a radio show on the internet through video streaming or podcasts. Even with just a few listeners, you can gain valuable experience and learn technical skills that will be imperative for the future. Here you can develop your own radio show by live streaming it or by creating a podcast, recording and producing it, and then uploading it onto a platform for people to listen to. This will help you practice the development and the delivery of your content. Once you've been doing this for a while, you will have a substantial portfolio of work from which you can select the best and the most appropriate pieces for submission of your demo. You can also start as early as you like, as qualifications are not necessary for this type of content. You live in the best possible time to be a content creator, okay? Look at the world around us. In your hand, you have everything you need to create radio without having an actual radio gig. Your smartphone, without any add-on hardware, can be turned into a studio, and you can broadcast a live show right now, or start recording and publish your own podcast right now. The truth is that as an aspiring young radio professional, you have to be prepared to dedicate as much time and effort to learning and perfecting your craft as you can, okay? You do this by jumping straight in and creating as much as you can. So I want to show you a very short video quickly.
Nobody tells people who are beginners, and I really wish somebody had told this to me, is that all of us who do creative work, like, you know, we get into it, and we get into it because we have good taste. But it's like there's a gap that for the first couple of years that you're making stuff, what you're making isn't so good, okay? It's not that great. It's trying to be good. It has ambition to be good, but it's not quite that good. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, your taste is still killer. And your taste is good enough that you can tell that what you're making is kind of a disappointment to you. You know what I mean? A lot of people never get past that phase. A lot of people at that point, they quit. And the thing I would just like say to you with all my heart is that most everybody I know who does interesting creative work, they went through a phase of years where they had really good taste. They could tell what they were making wasn't as good as they wanted it to be. They knew it felt short. It didn't have this special thing that we wanted it to have. And the thing I would say to you is everybody goes through that. And for you to go through it, if you're going through it right now, if you're just getting out of that phase, you got to know it's totally normal. And the most important possible thing you could do is do a lot of work. Do a huge volume of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week or every month you know you're going to finish one story. Because it's only by actually going through a volume of work that you're actually going to catch up and close that gap. And the work you're making will be as good as your ambitions. In my case, like I took longer to figure out how to do this than anybody I've ever met. It takes a while. It's going to take you a while. It's normal to take a while, and you just have to fight your way through that. Okay?
So you just have to fight your way through that. Do the work and you'll see the results. Let's look at the experience log there. Let's look at the experience log. Radio, like any media industry, is a portfolio-based business. This means that you need to develop a full portfolio to show recruiters the work you have created and the extent of your experience. Although this may seem daunting at first, if you have a recording device or a mobile phone, you can start creating content and gaining experience now already. You don't need a job in order to create an experience log. Creating work is about dedicating time and effort to learning the craft. Therefore, the fact that it may not be broadcasted or heard by more than a few listeners shouldn't be a barrier to you gaining experience. if you're not looking to be on air, consider some practical examples of campaigns that could be sold on the station. So something, for example, competition ideas, marketing partnerships, sponsorships and strategies that you could implement. Show how these ideas can be used on various shows or with various presenters or clients that advertise on stations that you listen to. You can also develop social media ideas that will fit in with what the station is doing and show how these ideas will appeal to the current listeners, attract new listeners, or generate revenue. If we look at page 539, there are a couple of examples of how you could format and express this experience. Okay, there's a couple of, there are two projects that they launched in 2019. The first is XFM celebrated its 50th birthday, and the second was the launch of Hectic Caffeine Beverage on XFM. So what I'm looking at now is purely an example of an experience log for off-air experience, okay? So your responsibilities and outputs there might be to develop a promotional campaign to celebrate the station's 50th birthday through recording vox pops of over 500 listeners at the XFM birthday concert, cut and package for on-air sweeps, donuts, and liners. Create a sound effect library to elicit birthday celebrations for song tagging, as well as for competition winner announcements. Source and create a bank of celebrity birthday wishes for XFM. Okay, so that's quite a lot of work to do there. And then for the launch of their Hectic Caffeine beverage, develop and implement a competition and a sponsorship campaign for Hectic Caffeine, which is, in this case, like I've said, a new beverage in the market belonging to a top 40 client of XFM. So you would have participated in team programming and sales brainstorming to establish the competition concept, scripted competition promos and sponsorship elements for Hectic Caffeine's approval, recorded and produced all on-air elements, briefed relevant DJs to ensure the correct placement and support of the launch of various shows, won Best Production nomination at the Radio Fabulous Awards in 2019. And then there's a 2018 one, which was DJ Jazzy M was brought on board by XFM to host a specialist music show on Sunday nights. So he had to... So you would have had to script and record launch promos as a build-up to DJ Jazzy M's first on-air live show, cut segments of interview audio to create dramatic promos for DJ Jazzy M, obtained voice recordings from DJ Jazzy M at club gigs, speaking to listeners, recorded promo voice, scripted and directed DJ Jazzy M for advertising and competition elements paid for by a sponsor. A couple of others. Let's look at these. So the positions here are technical producer, head of promotions, marketing manager. So what would they do? The technical producer would work on the sound imaging. The head of promotions would create and execute branded promotions. The marketing manager would market the radio station internally and externally. What you need to create now. The technical producer would create ads, promos, imaging, and edit voice. How would he do it? How? Get free audio editing software on your smartphone. So if you don't want to be on air and you don't want to do a demo, you can. If you want to be a technical producer, go get that audio editing software on your smartphone and start creating ads, promos, images. Start getting voices, recording voices and editing them, okay? If you want to be the head of promotions, and what you'll do is create and execute branded promotions. You can get a word processor on a smartphone or on your computer to start working on that. For a marketing manager, what you'll do is you'll market the radio station internally and externally, okay? You'll also use a word processor on your smartphone or on your computer. And all of these are things you can start working on now already. You can start building your portfolio for all of these. If you want to be a producer, if you want to be in charge of promotions, if you want to work as a marketing manager, if you want to be in sales, you can start already working on campaign ideas, on creative campaigns, whether it's on air, off air, whether it's digital. Keep in mind perhaps a 360 approach, so using different formats together, or so utilizing different media at the same times. Don't wait until you're completely done with this course to only start working on the practical side. But you don't need anything more than you already have to begin creating a portfolio of work-based evidence that can be used to show a prospective employee that you can do the job. You literally have everything that you need at your fingertips. What I want you to start doing now is to develop a promotional campaign to celebrate Boston FM's 2nd birthday. How are you going to do that? You're going to message 5 of your friends in Radio 1 right now and ask them to send you Vox Pop messages of them as listeners congratulating Boston FM on turning 2. What is a Vox Pop? It's a voice link. Okay, so it's a voice recording. So they can simply send you voice recordings on their phone of them congratulating Boston FM on turning 2. As well as your fellow first-year students, that they can also go and have a listen to what it is that you did. Okay, so at least 2 of those Vox Pops you need to upload for me. You now need to design an on-the-ground event celebration. Explain the type of event you want to have. How many people would you want at the event? And why would you think the event will work in celebrating Boston FM's 2nd birthday? You can do this as a COVID event, so as where we're standing at the moment, meaning 50 people max, or you can do it as a pre-COVID or as a post-COVID event, okay? And then finally, you need to script a 30-second promo or advert for me for the event. I know it says 120 words there, but I want you to work on 90, okay? 90 words. So technically a 30-second only goes up to 100 words max. And if you are still putting sound or anything to this, it means it's going to cut it even less. So work from 90 upwards. Remember to explain the event. Where is it going to be? Where can people get tickets for the event? Why would they come to this event? Sell the event to the Boston FM listeners. And then on the Call Campus forum, post your advert and ask other students if they would like to come to your event. Let us comment on your event. I'd love to hear it. Let us comment on your ad. Okay, let us hear what you came up with. Because I mean, you should be proud of this, even though it's the first time that you're doing something like this. This is the perfect platform to start working on this kind of, this is the perfect platform to start working on this. So in summary, I want you to read page 538 and 539. Once again. So just go and read this short piece of the experience log again, okay? From this lesson and from the reading, you can see that you don't need anything more than you already have to begin to create a portfolio of work-based evidence that can be used to show a prospective employee that you can do the job, okay? All you need is passion and the want and the drive to do it. And then you just start working at it. You start crafting at it, and eventually after experience, well, and at the end of the day, you'll get there. Okay, test yourself to see if you understood the lesson. True or false, you need a professional studio to begin to make podcasts. Number 2, choose the most correct statement. You can begin to broadcast a radio show right now from your smartphone. You can begin to broadcast a radio show from your smartphone right now, but remember the content is what will attract people to your show. Number 3, true or false. This lesson only applies to on-air people. If I want to be a promotions coordinator, I will have to wait to get a job before I can start creating a body of evidence. So think about these, please. Make sure that you understand these completely before moving on to the next slide, because the next slide gives you the answers. False, you don't need a professional studio to begin making podcasts. You can make them right now. And the correct statement is the second one. You can begin to broadcast a radio show from your smartphone right now, but remember the content is what will attract people to your show. Number 3 is false. This lesson doesn't only apply to on-air people. You can start working on your promotions coordinator body of evidence right now already. And then more practice time. Over the next few days, before the next lessons, set some time aside and do the exercises on page 539 in table 14.2, please, as homework. Even if you don't think that you're interested in those operational jobs, just try to do the exercises, because you also want to be multi-skilled when it comes to radio. You want to be able to do more than one thing. Who knows, you might discover a love for some of the behind the scenes radio stuff that you never knew you had. In the next lesson, we're going to look at the importance of work-integrated learning by discussing volunteering and mentorship with an emphasis on creation. We'll also discuss the importance of a professional CV within the context of radio. And for today, this brings me to the end of this lecture. So what did you learn? If you have the passion, you can start right now. There's no reason to wait to start working on your practical side. If you have the passion, start right now, okay? And with that, I say goodbye to you until next time. Bye.